Hi guys, this is JJ. Today we're going to take a close look at the speaking part 1, especially the first topic that you have to introduce yourself. But before we get started, there are two very important things that you need to know about part 1. Okay, so two things you must know. First, in part 1, you will be asked about 3 different topics with 3 to 4 questions per topic. And the first topic is always about your home or your hometown or your work or your studies. So it means that one of these topics will be your very first topic of the speaking test. So you really gotta prepare talking about this. Alright? And the second, in part 1, you have to make an answer simple and direct with 2 to 3 sentences. So, do not waste your time to memorize complex and fancy answers. In part 1, the examiner does not expect you to give long, complex answers. They're checking your fluency, more like your first impression, not like your fancy grammar or vocabulary. Alright? So, what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at the first topic with very simple, easy to remember band score 8 answers. So after watching this video, you will get a strong sense of what you should talk about with your first topic. Okay, so let's get started. So the first question would always be, let's talk about where you live or what you do. So if you get where you live question, then the topic will be about your home or your hometown. And if you get what you do question, then it's gonna be about your work or your studies. It depends on your status. So as you can see, it's a 50-50 chance, so you really gotta prepare. So today we're gonna take a look at where you live question together. Okay, where you live, home. When it's about your home, the questions you're likely to get are like this. Don't worry, we're going to look through all of them one by one. Okay, so the first one, do you live in an apartment or a house? Well, I live in a 3-bedroom house with my family. The house is not that big, but it's very cozy. Yeah, that's it. As simple as that. So here, you can just put the number of your bedroom. I said 3 and choose house or apartment. You can say, so I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. And then who you live with. If you live by yourself, just say by yourself. And I add the house is not that big, but it's very cozy. But if you want to say your house is quite big, you can say something like this. It's quite spacious. Spacious means that it's big and has a lot of room, you know. So it has a lot of storage space. You can add it too. Alright. And next up, how long have you lived there? I've been living there for about 10 years now. So I know the neighborhood quite well. So here is a nice complex grammar, the tense. Well, I say you don't have to show up your grammar or something, but it's a good structured answer that you can use again and again. Okay, so I've been living there for about, and I said 10 years, right? And then I said, so I know the neighborhood quite well. But if you say like, I've been living there for about 2 months, then you can say this. So I don't know the neighborhood very well. Alright? Okay, next up. What do you like about living there? Well, my bedroom is what I like the most. It's very comfortable and cozy. And it has quite a large window, so I can see the beautiful sunset in my room. Okay? Alright, so here, when you get questions like this, what do you like about something? You can say, I like something, but you can also say something is what I like the most. It's easy but better structured sentence. So say it. Something is what I like the most. Good. All right. And the next up, what do you dislike about living there? Well, I'm quite happy with where I live, except that it has a small kitchen. Well, not that it is that much small, but it gets pretty crowded when more than 2 people are in the kitchen at the same time. Here, the question is about what I dislike about. So I said, I'm happy, I like everything except, and blah, blah, blah. Okay? All right. And next up, what sort of accommodation would you most like to live in? Well, I love to live in a house with a huge pool and a beautiful garden. Plus, it'd be great if the house is located near downtown. All right, that's it for the topic home. So let's move on to the hometown topic. Okay, so when you get hometown topic, these are the related questions. First question, let's talk about your hometown. Where do you live? I live in Seoul, which is the capital city of South Korea. And I grew up in Seoul, so it is my hometown as well. This question can be confusing because hometown means the place you grew up, and where do you live is where you live now, right? But your hometown and where you live now can be different cities, right? Then you can say something like this. Well, I grew up in Seoul, but now I live in Osan. Well, I've been living there for about 5 years now. Yeah, that's it. You can just say something like this. Okay, next up, what kind of place is it? Well, Seoul is a big city which has everything from modern art galleries, great shopping places, famous restaurants, as well as huge city parks where you can enjoy picnic. Okay, so here, this can be confusing as well because you might think my hometown or where I live, which city should I explain? Don't worry, it's not that important. You can choose either the city you live now or your hometown. Doesn't really matter. And if the city is quite small, you can also say something like this. Well, Osan is a small town located next to Seoul. It's fairly quiet, especially at night when the shops are closed. Okay, and next up, what's the most interesting part of your town? Well, there are plenty of interesting things in Seoul, but if I have to choose one, then I would say that it has lots of cool cafes, famous restaurants that are totally worth checking out. Okay, so here is a bit of trick. When the question is about what's the most something something, then you can say there are a lot of something something, but if I have to choose one, then I would say, yeah, this can be a template sentence. So you can make your sentence well structured. It's a good trick. And here are totally worth checking out. Means worth trying out going there. It's a good place. And if the city is small, you can also answer like this. Well, there are a lot of interesting things in Osan, but if I have to choose one, then I would say it's beautiful views of mountains and the lake. Okay, next up, what kind of jobs do the people in your town do? Well, obviously, there are a variety of jobs in Seoul, but a lot of them are office workers who work in marketing, sales, investing, things like that. And if you live in a countryside, then you can answer like this. Obviously, there are a variety of jobs in Osan, but a lot of them are farm workers. All right. Would you say it's a good place to live? Why? Oh yes, definitely. It's a great place to live since it has everything I need and lots of things to do. I love the hustle and bustle of this big city. It's a fun place to live in. Okay, so here I just explained why Seoul is a good place to live in, and I use this expression. The hustle and bustle means a large amount of activity and work, usually in a noisy surrounding. It's like a busy and a lot of things are going on always kind of vibe, you know? Hustle and bustle. Okay, but if you live in a small town, you can also answer like this. Oh yes, I think it's a good place to live because, the cost of living here is fairly reasonable and people are very friendly too. Yeah? Alright, so we've practiced home and hometown, right? And what we have left? Yes, work and studies. So in my next video, we're gonna practice these two. Alright, so good work guys today, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!